Cole's Little Treehouse presents Professor Stupido, the greatest uninventor in the world. Written by Andy Griffiths and Terry Denton and read by Stig Weems. Hi, I'm Andy. I live in a treehouse with my friend Terry and we make books together. I write the words and he draws the pictures. Hi, I'm Terry. I live in a treehouse with my friend Andy and we make books together. I draw the pictures and he writes the words.
Hi, I'm Jill. I live in a house full of animals in the forest near my friends, Andy and Terry. I like animals and solving problems and doing puzzles.
And I'm Silky. I'm a canary and I can fly. And I'm Jill's favourite pet.
If you're like most of our listeners, you've probably heard of inventors, but have you heard of uninventors? Instead of inventing things, they uninvent things. The most famous uninventor in the world is Professor Stupido, and this is his story. The incredible true adventures and amazing uninventions of Professor Stupido, the greatest uninventor in the world. You foolish Earthman, don't you realise I could uninvent you all with a snap of my fingers?
Hey, look out! If he sees you, he'll uninvent you!
Professor Stupido, the world-famous uninventor, first discovered his powers of uninvention as a child when his wind-up toy robot refused to play with him one day.
I'm not going to play with you. I am not going to play with you.
In a rage, he grabbed a hammer and with one mighty blow, he uninvented the toy robot forever.
You are a rotten wind-up toy.
You whir and click and stammer. I hereby uninvent you with the help of this big hammer. Not long after uninventing his toy robot, he discovered he could also uninvent boring books. Your plot is boring and your characters dire. I hereby uninvent you via the fire. Fling! As Professor Stupido grew older, he became capable of even more dazzling feats of uninvention. He was able to uninvent anything he didn't like, simply by pointing at it and saying a little rhyme. Roses are red, violets are blue. Get out of my sight! I uninvent you! One cold day, Professor Stupido was walking in the park, thinking of new things to uninvent, when he saw a hot ice cream seller. A nice hot ice cream is just what I need to warm me up, said the professor. Hot ice cream, get your hot ice cream, hottest ice cream in town. Just what I need. But, unfortunately, the hot ice cream was so hot it burned the professor's tongue, and he cried out in pain. You burned my tongue and made me scream! I uninvent you, hot ice cream! And there was no such thing as hot ice cream anymore, because Professor Stupido had uninvented it, which made Professor Stupido very happy, and all the hot ice cream lovers in the world very unhappy.
My ice cream is freezing cold! I hate you, Professor Stupido!
Not long after uninventing hot ice cream, Professor Stupido was on another idea-gathering walk in the park when he was buzzed by a gang of flying beetroot riders. Curse these flying beetroots, said Professor Stupido. I've a good mind to uninvent them once and for all. You can't uninvent flying beetroots, said one of the flying beetroot riders. Oh, yeah? Well, watch this, said Professor Stupido, pointing at the flying beetroots. Stupid flying beetroots whizzing through the air, I hereby uninvent flying beetroots everywhere. Suddenly, there was no such thing as flying beetroots anymore, and the surprised ex-flying beetroot riders fell from the sky and crashed to the ground.
Ouch!
Which made Professor Stupido very happy. And all the ex-flying beetroot riders very unhappy.
Professor Stupido!
One afternoon, Professor Stupido was out taking his daily stroll, thinking of new things to uninvent, when an enormous frogpotamus jumped out of a tree and attached itself to his head. Curse these disgusting frogpotamuses always jumping out of trees and attaching themselves to my head, yelled Professor Stupido. I'm going to uninvent the lot of them. Of frogpotamuses I am not a fan. Cease your existence as fast as you can. And then there were no frogpotamuses in the world anymore, which made Professor Stupido very happy, and all the frogpotamus spotters very unhappy.
But you've made them all extinct. What will we frogpotamus spotters spot now?
Not my problem. As Professor Stupido uninvented more and more things, more and more people became very unhappy with him.
Where did my talking pineapple go?
And what about snake dogs? Where did they go?
I miss smelly vision.
And walking cars?
Bring back vegetable aeroplanes.
And my edible bed?
And chocolate pillows. Yum!
Electric cheese toasting cats?
Custard gloves!
Disposable grandmas.
But Professor Stupido didn't care. He wasn't about to stop uninventing things. In fact, he invented a plan to uninvent everything in the entire world. The idea made him very happy, and he did a little dance and sang a little song. Imagine a world that has been uninvented. Think of all the problems that will now be prevented. No boxing elephants to punch your nose. No crabs in the beach to pinch your toes. No waste, no rubbish, no junk, and no litter. No texting, no Facebook, no apps, and no Twitter. How clean, how pure, how perfectly silent, how wonderfully peaceful, and not at all violent. Nobody could possibly be disconnected in a world that I have uninvented. But before Professor Stupido could uninvent everything in the world, the people of Earth had a big meeting and voted to uninvent Professor Stupido. They picked him up.
Oh, let me go! Oh, put me down! Get off! Don't touch my bottom! Ow, that hurts!
Tied him to a rocket.
Oh, don't tie me to a rocket! No, let him...
Good riddance!
Good
riddance, my friend.
Off you go! Get out of it!
Blast him off. And blasted him to the dark side of the moon, where he wouldn't be able to upset them with his annoying uninventions ever again.
You fools!
Is that a flying beetroot? No, there's no such thing as a flying beetroot anymore. You'll all be really sorry. I'll be back very soon, once I've figured out how to uninvent the moon. The end. Thanks for listening. See you in the treehouse.